In the name of Allah, the most compassionate, the most merciful, and may the peace and blessings of Allah be upon His last and beloved Messenger Muhammad, and may the peace and blessings of Allah be upon you all. The title of this presentation is Optimal Water Pipe Network from the Guidance of the Quran. So I will show in this presentation how Allah God Almighty teaches us by pondering upon the verses of the last revelation to people of the Quran, how to produce an optimal design for a piping network that delivers water to our houses. So, to start with looking at the water piping network, here we have on the left a city containing houses, and each house requires water to be delivered to it. Now, we want to learn the optimal piping network to deliver water to that house, meaning that has minimum energy to deliver the adequate amount of water to the house. Now, where can we learn this? Now, Allah God Almighty teaches us in the Quran how to find this optimal design for this network by pondering upon verse number 1 of chapter 95 of the Quran, which reads, by the fig and the olive. So here Allah God Almighty mentions two of His creation, the fig and the olive. And when Allah God Almighty mentions the names of His creation in the Quran, He wants us to ponder upon this creature and to learn from the design of Allah God Almighty into that creature. So if we ponder upon the fig and the fig tree and the leaf of the fig tree, we find the following. Here on the right we have the leaf of a plant. So we find that it contains cells. It has cells. It is composed of cells. Now each cell, it requires water. So the logic is the following. If we ponder upon how Allah created the water piping network to deliver water to these cells within the plant leaf, and we try to mimic that and replicate that into an engineering design, then that would be the optimal piping network, because Allah God Almighty perfected everything He has created. So again, the logic is the following. If we look at the leaf of a plant and the leaf of a fig tree, we see that it's composed of cells that require water. So if we now ponder upon how Allah created the piping network to deliver water to these cells and try to mimic that in engineering design, we get the optimal design. So to start with this, now if we look at current design, current technologies for water piping networks, and I'll take just one aspect of the current design for the pipe network to deliver water to our houses. Now we see that here we have the main kind of pipe carrying water, and here we have the side pipes or the branching pipe from the main one. We see that the angle between them is 90 degrees. So one of the main characteristics in the current technologies, that the angle between the main pipe and the secondary pipe or the branching pipe is 90 degrees. Now as you will see that this is wrong. Having this angle of 90 degrees between the side pipe and the main pipe to be 90 degrees is wrong. Now if you look at the leaf of a fig tree, we see that it has main pipes or here, and the ones shown in the blue color, they are the side branches or the branching pipes delivering water to other parts of the leaf. We see that the angle here again, we have the main branch, and we have the side ones, we see that the angle is less than 90 degrees. It's not 90. Again, we see that the angle between the main branch and the side branch is less than 90 degrees. And if we remember that the current technologies, their angle is 90. But in the creation of Allah God Almighty for the piping network, in the leaf, the angle between the side pipes and the main pipe is less than 90 degrees. So what does this difference, how can we understand that having an angle less than 90 is better than 90 degrees? Now, I used a computer program called ANSYS, which is a program that solves engineering problems using finite element analysis. So here in the program, here we have the main pipe or the main conduit carrying water, and here we have the side branch or vessel carrying water. And here again the angle is less than 90 degrees, as we find in the leaf of a plant. We see that the flow of water is very smooth and that there is no loss in pressure, either in the main water vessel or the main branch, the main pipe, or this side pipe. But if we make, again, using the computer software, the simulation software, here we have the main branch or the main pipe, and here we have the side pipe. Here we have 90 degrees as it's used in current piping networks. We see that there is a formation here of vortices, or like small kind of circulation of water in this location. Now the bad effect of this, that it reduces the pressure in the main vessel, the main pipe, and reduces the pressure in the side pipe. So this reduction in pressure means that there is a lesser amount of water reaching the house, and the main pipe will experience a drop in pressure. So this is a kind of a major disadvantage in this design. Whereas in the design we learn from the Quran and from how Allah created the vessels carrying water in the plant's leaf, having an angle less than 90 produces a smooth flow with no drop in pressure. Now engineers try to compensate for this in the current design for water piping networks by increasing the pressure in the network. Now this increase in pressure meaning you need more energy, a loss of energy, and there is a risk that the pipes might burst. They might kind of explode from the increased pressure. So we see how Allah teaches us a modification for the current technology in these piping networks that will produce better flow of water with less energy. Now, so here we have the current design shown on the left, having a 90 degrees, and this is the modified design from the Quran, having angles less than 90 degrees, will produce a smoother and better flow of water with lower energy consumption, and of course with the lower risk of pipe bursting and exploding. Now this design idea applies not only to houses in a city, also applies to a country as a whole, because a country is composed of many cities. So, and each city requires water. Now, if we look at a plant or a tree, we have the main vessel and we have side vessels or side pipes delivering water to the branch. So we can apply, and again the angle is less than 90 degrees. So we can apply this kind of modification of having lesser than 90 degrees angles between the side branches or the side pipes and the main pipes, not only to houses within a city, but also to the network delivering water to cities within the country. So we saw, brothers and sisters, how Allah Almighty teaches us from the Quran a better design for a piping network. And we saw how Allah Almighty wants a believer to be the teacher of others and not the one on the receiving end. And also we see the magnificence of the Quran, that you can understand it no matter how is your education, because Allah God Almighty wants you to understand the Quran and to implement it in your life. And to know more details about this topic, please visit my website at www.quran-miracle.com, and you can email me at zaidquran@gmail.com, and may the peace and blessings of Allah be upon you all.